Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast.
Welcome back to the lounge.
This is the place you come to learn.
Yeah, the things you didn't know you wanted to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, those extra tidbits that you can stick underneath your the coffee table of your mind.
I was going to say it's like a haunted library and the facts just come flying at you.
Yeah, like just off the shelf.
Yeah, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
We got information and books flying all over the place.
Yeah. Information superhighway.
Yeah. Today's kind of a weird one. We're going to be doing Cryptid Quotes. Yeah. Quotes on cryptids.
Alien/cryptids, I guess. Yeah.
Are aliens not cryptids?
Would you consider an alien a cryptid?
Let's do this. I got a definition for you, Dave. I know you're Mr. Webster, but I got it right here. Merriam-Webster's defines a cryptid as an animal that has been claimed to exist, but never proven to exist.
Oh, well, now with everything that's going on in the news...
Oh, that is a good one.
Aliens might not be cryptids.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess everything's a cryptid. Dinosaurs were a cryptid before you proved they could exist.
Yeah.
But maybe they weren't such a thought of thing until you start finding big-ass bones in the ground.
Yeah, until you find a bone. I mean, I didn't live back then, so they probably didn't know.
You didn't, Dave? I thought you were a vampire.
Yeah, but...
Shout out to the 2-year episode with number one fan Cam.
Yeah. Vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trench Paul was listening to that, and he always has to come over and be like, I didn't know there was so much folklore and like real life stuff about that. I'm like, yeah, man.
Well, and me and my wife were talking about that, in that there's so much, not evidence, but like folklore behind dragons.
Yeah.
From all over the world in these peoples that said to have not found each other for, years afterwards or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a thing. Who knows?
Right. Because I know it was really big in like Welsh culture.
Yeah, yeah.
And also in Chinese culture. And that's, for the old world, that's the farthest east and west you can get.
Yeah, and on top of that, they were two almost completely different looking creatures, I feel like.
Yeah.
The dragons that you think of in Chinese and the Eastern European dragon.
Yeah. Way different, but still called a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, and the term dragon could have been kind of dumbed down, as like they called it some sort of fire lizard or something,
Yeah. Oh, dinosaurs, thunder lizards.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, dragon isn't dragon, something like that.
But yeah, I have a quote on this new UAP stuff going around.
Yeah.
So the new UAP information task force was actually refused access to an aerial crash site that they were trying to retrieve, quote, non-human origin technology or non-human origin technological vehicles. And the guy that I had seen who was... what was his name? David Grush. When they specifically asked him, how do you know that it's not human? He responded with, quote, when you have a crash, sometimes you see a dead pilot, end quote.
Ooh, what?
So, if it's not a person.
Yeah.
And they also went into... So this kind of sent me down a rabbit hole today, actually.
Okay.
They were talking about non-human origin. Doesn't necessarily mean extraterrestrial,
I suppose it could still be terrestrial, but
yeah. So I looked it up, and the average 3-bedroom house is 900 cubic feet.
Okay.
The volume of Soldier Field is 15 million cubic feet, or 0.0001 cubic miles.
Okay.
Not even a cubic mile. And it can fit a ton of people in there. And then the volume of the Grand Canyon is... Oh, I think I'm missing a decimal, or a zero, but it's 5,000 cubic miles.
It's a lot of mayonnaise.
So you can fit a ton of Soldier Fields in that thing. You know what I mean? Then the volume of the Earth is 260 billion cubic miles.
Oh,
so like there's a lot of the Earth that is there that, you know, we definitely have never seen.
Yeah.
And I guess popular science would want you to believe that it's all just like rock and shit.
Molten.
Yeah. Or I guess oil reserves.
Yeah.
Throwback to the oil spill episode. Check that one out if you haven't.
I think our core is iron, but I've also heard it's solid.
The core?
Yeah, the core.
I thought it was like molten.
That's what I thought too.
But molten is like essential. Like a liquid is technically a solid, or
no,
a liquid is at least matter.
Yeah.
Or like gas would be a lot of empty space.
Right. It wouldn't have a lot of mass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, when the guy from the government, this David Grush, and it sounds like he wasn't given access to this site, but from like the very specific words he was using triggered me to be like, non-extraterrestrials.
Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth theory.
Yes.
Fuck your flat Earth. It's hollow.
That's why all those TikTokers and YouTubers use Google Earth to zoom in.
Oh,
South Pole, and they're like, "Look, it's airbrushed. This is
airbrush.
This is paint. This is MS Paint. They're hiding something."
The Earth is actually a cylinder.
Yeah, it's not flat at all.
Yeah, that got me really going today.
Yeah. Well, in 2021, with an interview with EZRA. How would you say that?
EZRA,
Ezra Klinker. Anyway, Barack Obama, former president, said, when it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air.
Whoa.
And then he said, the truth is that when I came into the office, I was like, is there a lab somewhere where we're keeping the alien specimens in spaceships? They did a little research, and the answer was no.
Oh, okay.
But what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, there's footage of records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they move, their trajectory. They do not have an easily explainable pattern, and therefore it like baffled them.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, half my quote got ripped off here.
Technology.
Yeah. And
works
then,
against us.
He went on to say, it's interesting. It wouldn't change my politics at all because my entire politics is premise on the fact that we are these tiny organisms on this little speck floating in the middle of space. When we were going through tough political times and I tried to cheer up my staff up, I tell them a statistic that John Holdren, my science advisor, told me, which was that there's more stars in the known universe than there are grains of sand on the planet Earth. Well, sometimes it cheered him up. Sometimes they just rolled their eyes and said, oh, here he goes again.
I like your Barack Obama impression.
I'm trying. They're just a bunch of humans with doubts and confusion. Where we are just, we do the best we can, and the best thing we can do is treat each other better. Because we're all we've got. And so I would hope that the knowledge that there were aliens out there would solidify people's sense that what we have in common is a little more important.
Yeah, because when Independence Day comes, you're not going to be wanting to fighting about fucking abortion and fucking gay rights and shit like that.
Yeah, he's like, no doubt there would be immediate arguments like, well, we need to spend a lot of more money on weapon systems to defend ourselves. New religions would pop up, and who knows what kind of arguments we get into. We're good at manufacturing arguments for each other.
That impression just keeps getting better and better.
As I go. Yeah, and he was pretty much went on to, be like, be good to yourselves,
Yeah, be good to yourselves, people.
Yeah, be excellent to one another.
Be excellent.
And party on.
Yeah, kind of to come off of that is in reference to finding aliens in her audio and radio wave research at the SETI Institute. SETI is Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Dr. Jill Tarter was quoted as saying, "The chances of success are difficult to estimate, but if we never search, the chance is zero."
Yeah, it's true. But I was thinking about that while the old lady was getting the kids. That goes back to our, was it Aliens episode? Or like More Aliens? Or
One of the two?
One of the two, yeah. Where it was talking about like the universe is kind of like being in a dark jungle. You don't know what's out there. Do you just start yelling out into the void?
Yeah.
Because you don't know what can hear you and what you're going to attract.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's always lions lurking around the next bush.
Right. And Stephen Hawkins, how do you say that? He said, if aliens visit us, the outcome would be much as when Columbus landed in America, which didn't turn out well for the Native Americans.
Oh, damn. That one hits deep.
Yeah.
As a white man.
I was trying to find something. I think Carl Sagan had the same. Carl Sagan was like hopeful and like really like in love with the universe, but he was also like searched for intelligent life, but maybe not
too hard.
Yeah, because we don't know what we're gonna get.
Yeah. So I had seen an interview with a gentleman, Calvin Parker, who was involved in a 1973 UFO abduction along with another man in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Calvin essentially went into hiding from the people after being ridiculed about his abduction. And him and his wife were using like fake names for a long time. And he finally got an interview with this Ben Hansen, who was, I believe, in the military. And then also he has said that he has seen a UFO. And this was on the Travel Channel. When asked about his abduction and asked Calvin if he called the cops afterwards, he stated, "I said, look, best thing for us to do is tell no one. But Charles called the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, and I was thinking, what an idiot."
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows how many people experience things, and I have one to piggyback off of that. Who knows how many people experience things and don't say anything for one, fear of being ridiculed about, seeing the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Or also maybe, they're traumatized and they just don't ever want to speak of it again.
Yeah.
But then to piggyback off of that, Harvard University Medical School was interviewing people who have said they've been abducted. And to quote one of the professors, "After I worked with 40 or 50 of these individuals, I discovered that to my amazement that there was simply no psychiatric explanation to this, that something really had happened to them." And that was Dr. John Mack, professor of psychiatry at Harvard University School in the 70s is when this happened.
70s.
Which is around when a lot of those abductions were happening.
Yeah.
That was a huge spike. Or maybe just the first spike.
First spike, I think, was a little like when Sputnik started going around, like the 50s.
Oh, okay.
And I think there was another big one in the 70s when coming down from the 60s,
Yeah.
But stuff like that is, if it's in your brain and you believe that it happened, you're going to believe that it happened, even if it didn't like technically happen. But then how can you prove it didn't happen unless you're like, we have videotape or video surveillance and nothing was in your room, or you didn't get sucked into the sky, you just had a seizure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. My last political one was Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
And this one is more like just him. It was his address to the 42nd session of the United Nations in New York. And he says, "Can we in all nations not live in peace? And our obsession with antagonism of the movement, we often forget how much unity is all the members of humanity." Wow. Ronald Reagan talks a lot different than Obama.
I was going to say, not the best Reagan impression.
Yeah. Perhaps we need some outside. I don't know how he talked.
Me neither.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet I ask you, is it not an alien force among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting in that I feel like people definitely have a history of war.
Yeah.
But people also want to live within a community.
Yeah. But they also like their resources.
Mm-hmm.
And as their community gets bigger, you have to expand. And if someone's at the good fishing spot, you might have to kick them out of there.
Yeah. When resources run low, then you really fight for what you need, I guess.
Yeah. Greed.
Which is I would presume why an alien would come here to take our resources.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be the people or oil or maybe there's something so abundant here that isn't somewhere else, you know.
Yeah. Well, maybe because how I'm trying to think of the guy. I think it was Captain Cook, but I could be wrong. That Japan for the longest time was an isolated island, and they didn't trade with anybody. And then some English guy, I think, just forced them to start trade, by force.
Yeah.
So I could see if there was oh hey guys, you have a lot of diamonds and they're valuable and we need them for bending gravitational pulls to fly around the universe. You want to fly around the universe with us? Trade diamonds.
Yeah.
Or we'll blast you.
Yeah, I had done a research paper in high school about they found, I believe it was in California, they found an amoeba that ate arsenic to live.
Yeah.
It survived on arsenic as opposed to oxygen. So it made them completely redefine what a living organism is.
Yeah.
And so they could come down here and be like, hey, we see you got all these carbon emissions. You know, why don't we scoop some of those up and because that's what we fucking juice on.
Yeah.
And boom, solves everybody's problems.
Yeah. They're walking around with carbon packs on. So
Yeah,
the air.
Yeah. They can't breathe the regular oxygenated air, so they have to have scuba suits for carbon.
Yeah. That would be ideal.
Yeah. It's just it's like an old steampunky looking engine on the back, and it's just
like that Hellboy 2.
Oh, the underwater guy.
Well, they get a new manager or something, and he's like Mist, but he's in this big suit.
Oh, okay. I think I remember what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
That one was a good one. Who was the guy that did that movie? Because he also did Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Very visually appealing.
It's Del Toro.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Guillermo
del Toro, yeah.
Because I always want to say Benicio del Toro, but that's a different guy.
Yeah, I was going to say somebody else, but I think it was not. I think I was mixing two names.
Oh, okay.
I think I was going to say Antonio, but that's Antonio Banderas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All them Spanish peoples.
The last one on aliens I got was so this Stan Romanek, he's I think just a regular dude, and he's captured a bunch of videos of UFOs. He has the most independent witnesses, so other people that have seen him with him. He has the most documentation and the most alleged proof than anyone else other than probably the government. And he has in fact been abducted. He was saying that once he was abducted, this shit would just follow him around, almost like a haunting type situation.
Yeah.
When confronted that his story sounds unbelievable and made up, he stated, "If you're a skeptic like I was, and trust me, I was in the same boat as you are, you guys are crazy, but every time I would think of that, something else would happen and prove that I'm not crazy."
Yeah. It's crazy. I've heard about that they'll follow people and I don't know, abduct them a couple times.
Yeah.
And even some people would try to not think about it because if they thought about their abduction and all of a sudden the aliens would come back, it'd seem, or they would see something and they'd be like, "Oh crap!"
Just like you're talking to a friend and all of a sudden a beam comes down on top of you. And you're like, "Not again!"
Yeah, but I don't know if there are aliens. I hope they're cool. Unless they're just always like sticking you in the eyeball or like
Putting hoses up your butt.
Yeah, and you're like, what else do you need, man? Because, yeah, that one, the first Aliens when we did, the guy, I don't remember his name, but he would get abducted and they would be like, they would have sexy time.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He had a girlfriend.
Alien girlfriend?
Yeah. And then he fathered a bunch of hybrid alien babies with.
And you know what? I meant to look up a quote. I can't remember if it was the Aliens or the More Aliens that we did with the guy that had the pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
With the aliens, but I forgot to look that one up.
Yeah. That was some buckwheat pancakes or something.
Buckwheat pancakes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, I got a fun game we can play at the end of this too.
You have a fun game?
Yeah.
All right. Do you know who Erykah Badu is?
Erykah Badu. She's a musical artist.
Yes.
And I think I have heard where you're going to come from with this one, but I can't remember it.
You can't remember it?
Yeah, you go.
Well, she was on this, like, a web series or whatever. And it's called Over and Under, like overrated or underrated.
Oh, okay.
And they'll, like, say something, and then she'll be like, oh, over or underrated. And they said aliens, and she was like, underrated. And she's like, I've not had any close encounters, and I'm pissed. And I'm trying to figure out what makes me not good enough for aliens. I definitely don't want to think it's anything negative about me. I'm doing everything you could possibly do to get abducted. I read all the shit. I stay out late by myself. I have a little keyboard and play do 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 all the time.
You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of when we did Ghosts. Wasn't there a celebrity that had like a relationship with a ghost?
Anna Nicole Smith.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
And Lucy Liu.
Oh, okay.
And Dan Aykroyd.
I remember that one.
Three, yeah.
But yeah, I can imagine Erykah Badu just sitting out in her car, like at a railroad track or something.
Yeah, in the middle of the country, like do 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 do. Come on, fuckers!
Big 15-inch speakers sitting on top of her car. You got any more on aliens, Dave?
I got one, but I mean, you have to do the one part. In an interview for Interview Magazine, it wasn't like an interview, but like Rick Owens and Miley Cyrus were having a conversation.
Okay.
And Rick Owens is like this designer guy who makes, like, to me, they look like knockoff Chuck Taylors. But I bet he sells them for like thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about his birthday where they went and like drove by Area 51 and then went to Las Vegas and blah, blah, blah. And Miley Cyrus was like, speaking of Area 51, do you believe in extraterrestrials? And then you read the green part.
I don't really, but it seems a little arrogant to assume there's nobody else but us.
That's what I fucking think.
I haven't looked into it. Have you?
I had an experience, actually. I was driving through San Bernardino with my friend, and I got chased down by some sort of UFO. I'm pretty sure about what I saw, but I also bought some weed wax from a guy in a van out front of a taco shop. So it could have been the weed wax, but the best way to describe it is a flying snowplow. It had this big plow in the front of it and was glowing yellow. I did see it flying, and my friend saw it too. And there were a couple of cars on the road, and they also stopped to look. So I think what I saw was real.
Well, I don't know what to say to that. I haven't seen shit.
I was shaken for like 5 days. It fucked me up.
It disturbed you?
I couldn't really look at the sky the same. I thought they might come back.
So you felt threatened?
I didn't feel threatened at all, actually. But I did see a being sitting in the front of the flying object. It looked at me. We made eye contact. And I think that's really what shook me. Looking into the eyes of something that I couldn't quite wrap my head around. But you're so right to say that it's a form of narcissism to think that we're the only things that could be in this vast universe.
To confront something like that would be very disorienting. but it really shakes up everything, like the whole system. I'll let you know when I see my first UFO.
Yeah, and that's where the interview ended.
And who was that again? Miley Cyrus?
Miley Cyrus
and the interviewer?
Rick Owens.
Oh, okay.
It's because I think how they do it is they put two celebrities together and just have a conversation. And I think these two really didn't quite click because she's all like, I was on weed wax. And he's like, okay.
He never saw anything coming back from the Golden Globes, or I don't even know what Rick Owens is popular for.
He's a designer.
Oh, that's what you said, that he designs those fancy Chuck Taylors.
Yeah, because I looked him up and they're like,
probably just buys Chuck Taylors and slaps,
and then sews on like an extra 3 feet of material to the top,
something like that. Yeah, I could see that. I found this really cool thing on the Thunderbird.
Yeah,
which we haven't touched on yet. I don't know if we've ever even talked about them at all, but maybe.
Aren't they like pterodactyls?
Yeah, I hear them
essentially.
Yeah, I hear them between like definitely like a pterodactyl size.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have heard that they're like also sometimes covered in feathers.
Oh, okay.
But in 1890, the Tombstone Epitaph published a story from two ranchers who said they saw a giant flying creature in the sky above them. The story was titled "A Strange Winged Monster Discovered and Killed on the Huachuca Desert," and quoted in there. The way they described it, their quote was, "A winged monster resembling a huge alligator with an extremely elongated tail and an immense pair of wings. It measured about 92 feet in length, and the greatest diameter around was about 50 inches. The monster only had 2 feet, these being situated a short distance in front of where the wings joined the body." And I thought it was cool that it almost seems like they didn't think twice about posting something like that.
Yeah.
And further down in the story, it had said that it was exhausted from flying so far, and they came across it on the ground.
Yeah.
After it flew overhead, and they shot it, and they cut off a piece of its wing, and brought it into town to show everybody to be like, no, fucking look at this thing.
Yeah.
It's real.
Just a piece of wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's like, I guess, a bunch of stories about those. And
yeah.
Some of them date back to like Old West times.
Yeah.
So could be something. I mean, mammals survived the Ice Age. Maybe some pterodactyls or something did.
Yeah, who knows? The world's a big place. Oh, you know what I was thinking about when I was doing that deep dive into the volume of the Earth.
Yeah.
What was that? Land of the Lost? Yeah. Was that a TV show about dinosaurs in the middle of the Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like somehow take a raft down there.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, there could be a pocket under the Earth, but there would be no light.
The light is from the ice covering over the snow caps.
What's that?
And it shines in.
Oh, okay, like a sunroof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a magnifying glass, almost even. So it warms it up.
But I've also heard that it's hollow, and the way the centrifugal force works, they're actually on the inside of the crust being held on.
Oh.
And that the core is actually like a little sun that kind of revolves around in there.
The science adds up. It's all there.
It makes sense, yeah. Did you hear about Mitch Hedberg, what he had to say about Bigfoot?
No. Tell me all of it.
All of it. He says, "I think Bigfoot is blurry." And that's the problem. It's not the photographer's fault. Bigfoot's just blurry. And that's extra scary to me. Because there's a large, out-of-focus monster roaming the countryside.
Large, out-of-focus monster. That's a good one. I had seen this quote about Sasquatch, and it was the idea of a wild, man-like other creature existing with us, but just beyond our understanding, is heavily rooted in mythology. And that quote was by Benjamin Radford, who was a deputy editor of Skeptical Inquirer magazine, and he was talking to Life Science when he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? It's outside of our realm?
Outside of our understanding. So it's like dragons.
Yeah.
To where like it is a thing that instills fear in us.
Yeah.
And so that's why it keeps popping up.
Right.
Just like aliens, you know. And some people say that they have a brush with them or something happens to them, and the only logical answer is a being that we know of outside of our total understanding.
Okay. So something we don't understand.
Yeah.
That we know of.
Yes.
Yeah. But there has to be something. I don't know why some of this stuff is just like through different cultures.
What do you mean?
Well, because you have like a Yeti in the Himalayas, but then you have Bigfoot
Well, you
over
have
here in the States.
you have black people from Africa and white people from Europe, and they just kind of look different because of their environments.
Yeah,
Is
but,
what I would attribute it to.
yeah, but it's not like I don't know. It's what am I trying to say? Different cultures have a Yeti in their mythology, you know? And so that's kind of weird to me how different cultures will still be like have the same kind of things,
Oh yeah.
even though they don't like necessarily like in the beginning didn't communicate as efficiently.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. So when it's like, yeah, talking about Sasquatches on our second episode ever, when the Sherpas were like, oh, if you run into a Yeti, just run downhill because their hair falls into their eyes and they can't see. Yeah.
Hey, real world problems call for real world solutions.
Right? And sometimes the simplest solution is the best solution. Megan Fox says about the paranormal that you and I are humans. This is not all of it. This can't be because we're so disappointing. Because I mean, yeah, if it's just us, I mean, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, it is pretty selfish to think that we're the only ones out there.
Yeah, and that's that Carl Sagan quote that I did see where he's like, if it is just us in the universe, that's quite a waste of space.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, such a waste of space.
Yeah, why can't Earth be like a small side project for God?
Yeah, or, I mean, maybe we're like a forgotten tribe in the Amazon, and the rest of the universe is like way past us.
Yeah, they're actually like, stay away from that planet. Those guys are bad news.
Yeah. I like that like meme where it's like, shows a little spaceship going by Earth, and they're like, lock your doors, it's Earth.
Lock your doors. I had seen a quote. This one was kind of funny. The Loveland Frogman.
Okay.
These two people, I couldn't tell if they were younger. They seemed younger, probably younger than us, but I couldn't tell if they were like little kids or, you know, maybe just in their like 20s. But these two people were playing Pokemon Go near a lake, and they saw the Frogman, and one of them, San Jacobs, emailed a video to the local newspaper saying, we saw a huge frog, saying, quote, we saw a huge frog near the water. Not in the game. This was an actual giant frog. I took a couple of pictures and a video because I've never seen one that big. Then it stood up and walked away on its hind legs. Later, he stated, swear on my grandmother's grave that this is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. On his grandmother's grave, Dave.
I know.
It's the truth.
It's the same as on a whole stack of Bibles.
On a whole stack of them.
Yes. Not just
I would
one.
never lie upon a stack of Bibles.
I wouldn't lay down on them either.
The hardest bed you'd ever laid
Just be
on.
lumpy. That'd be asking to have a haunted bed. Like, that just doesn't seem.
Yeah, that's asking to get smote.
Yeah. Or, yeah, I mean, keep spirits away. But if you have that many Bibles, you're going to get haunted.
You about to get haunted, boy.
Yeah. Back in the day, Johnny Depp was in Japan promoting his Mordecai movie. So maybe like
Mordecai.
Yeah, let's say maybe 2012, 2011.
Okay. Before the whole debacle.
Yeah, before the fecal matter. He was late to do press, and he was like, sorry, I'm not late because of any kind of illness or anything. I was attacked yesterday morning by a very rarely seen or experienced animal called chupacabra.
That was a pretty good Depp impression.
I fought with it for hours. They're very persistent, very mean. I'm pretty sure it came into my suitcase. I threw him off the 23rd floor, so we'll never see him again. Thank you for understanding.
He was in that suitcase full of drugs.
Yeah.
Thank you for understanding. Yeah. Johnny Depp, you son of a bitch, you got me.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of the Mongolian death worm.
Is it from Mongolia?
Yes. All right. Mongolian death worm. Or it's also called the Agoi Karkoi. And the Mongolian Prime Minister Dambin Zabar was recorded by Roy Chapman Andrews, saying that the Mongolian death worm, quote, shaped like a sausage, about 2 feet long, and has no head nor legs, and so poisonous that merely to touch it means instant death. And later it was recorded that in this book, On the Trail of Ancient Men, that's where that quote was taken from, On the Trail of Ancient Men. Later it was also said that the Agoi Karkoli, or Mongolian death worm, is said to be able to spit its poison at you and hit you with a bolt of lightning. There's never been any photographs or first-person accounts.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's like what are they called? They swim in the Mississippi, and they're not cats. Catfish. No, because they're electric. Like they're.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or like an electric eel.
Yeah.
So why couldn't a worm? That'd be a little electric.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's electric.
Boogie woogie woogie woogie. So then when it spits, maybe it's also a little poison, but it's also a little zap.
Yeah. It needs defenses. It's a little sausage worm, man.
A little sausage worm. I didn't tell him, like, how big it was. Did it say how big it was?
2 foot.
2 foot.
Shaped like a sausage. So, if you have a regular sausage.
Yeah.
And it's like, as big as round as 50-cent piece.
Yeah, like a
2 foot one would be like fucking, you couldn't even put your arms around it, maybe.
Oh, that's if the ratio to width to length stays.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well, I don't have any, physical documentation here, Dave.
I know, there's no pictures or anything.
Or first-hand accounts.
Yeah.
We don't have digital schematics of this thing.
Yeah. I was trying to find this one thing.
Find it faster.
I'm trying to find it faster. This guy, Larry Doyle Sanders, was 53.
Okay.
And he's an Oklahoma man, and he was fishing.
He loved to fish.
Well, I thought it was going to be his quote, but it's someone else talking about it. Where what did I say? Larry Doyle Sanders actually ended up killing his fishing buddy.
Oh,
yeah. Because Larry claimed that while at the river,
he pulled a real schmeagle.
He discovered Jimmy and intended to feed him to Sasquatch. Yeah.
He killed his friend to feed him to Sasquatch.
No, Larry indicated that Jimmy attempted to get away from him so that Sasquatch could eat Larry. Larry would not let Jimmy get away. Larry punched Jimmy and struck Jimmy with a stick. Larry and Jimmy fought for an extended amount of time on the ground. Larry confirmed he killed Jimmy by choking him to death near the river. And I think, actually, Larry was quoted saying that Jimmy started to do some ritual to summon Bigfoot, and that's when he was like, "You ain't summoning that Bigfoot on me," and started throttling his friend. It's like, "You get back here."
Yeah, I mean, if he gets far enough away, you can still summon him.
I know. Well, you start doing a little witchcraft to get Bigfoot, teach your friend.
Witchcraft will get you in trouble, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and that's in Oklahoma, but I'm still there very much like, and they started doing that voodoo, and he's like, "Bigfoot's gonna get you.
He gonna get you.
He's gonna get you, Larry. He's coming to get you." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not letting that happen."
You want to play a little game, Dave?
Sure. You said you had a game.
Yeah. This game is sponsored by Front Street Brewing. We got the Baroness Red Ale.
Davenport, Iowa?
Yes, Davenport, Iowa. Front Street Brewing. Handcrafted since 1992. Here, you want to take a look at that can? That's got my friend Riley Vaughn on it.
Baroness Red is... Yep.
It's on there.
It's on there. I like these. They got the good can labels.
Yeah.
Like, they're not just like the generic ones with a sticker.
Yeah, with all the plastic hanging off.
Yeah. Does it say... There does not say... I was trying to see if it told me what it was going to taste like or supposed to taste like.
I'd imagine it's a red ale, right? Not that I know what that tastes like.
Yeah, like what are like a Killian's? Are those red?
Killian's Irish Red.
And then there used to was it called Red Dog or something back in the day? There was like a red ale.
I think you're right about that. Then it got bit by rabies and became Mad Dog.
Yeah, but only half the time, 50-50.
It smells good.
It is kind of like, yeah.
All right, so as you take your first taste, Dave.
Oh, uh-oh.
I want you to tell me, do you think this quote is George Norrie or if it's Art Bell from Coast to Coast?
Okay.
All right, so as you're tasting that delicious Front Street beverage, is this an Art Bell or George Norrie from Coast to Coast quote? And these are just their quotes. They're not necessarily from Coast to Coast. Chill out, relax, and have an open mind.
I would... George Norrie.
George Norrie is correct. How about Bigfoot may well be an extraterrestrial because, remember Chewbacca?
Art Bell.
That's also George Norrie.
This thing tastes kind of salty. Like it kind of lingers on your tongue, but it's like have you ever poured salt in a beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of has that flavor.
Okay.
Like pre-salted beer.
It's not too bad. I would drink it. It's definitely not like a light. It's not definitely not like a light lager. This is what I'm used to at the PBR.
Yeah. Do they make Pilsners? Because most microbrews are like IPAs.
Yeah, I don't know. I only drink the free ones that my friends give me with their faces on them.
Oh, okay.
That's the Red Baron Snickerdoodle, which we did a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
And then the Cherry Bomb Blonde.
Cherry Bomb.
Those are the ones I generally drink from Front Street. How about this one? A mind should not be so open that the brain falls out. However, it should not be so closed that whatever gray matter which does reside may not be reached.
Okay. That's Art Bell.
Correct.
All right. The last one, when you said Chewbacca, I should have known. Because in my brain, I feel like...
Art Bell would never talk about Chewbacca.
I feel like Art Bell's more of like the refined old guy.
Yeah.
And then, whatever you said his name was.
George Norrie?
George Norrie. First, I was like, Art Carney. I'm like, that's not right.
Art Carney. They're both named Art. The spirit realm is real. It happens. Stay away from it.
The George
Norrie.
Yeah.
Correct. I don't believe in coincidences.
Is that Art?
George Norrie.
That's the one that you listen to most, right?
Yeah. I like him because he's a little bit more skeptic, like more out there.
Yeah. I mean, because Art was pretty good, but he'd also be like, so I guess, or like supposed Bigfoot enthusiast or like
a supposed Bigfoot enthusiast.
yeah, or doomsday sayer. Like he had a way to like compliment you offhandedly.
It's like if you're gonna be known for being the biggest Sasquatch guy,
Yeah.
it's gonna come with a caveat, okay?
Exactly.
I got a bunch here, but I think this will be the last one. I do believe in the paranormal, that there are such things our brains just can't understand.
Art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Art Bell.
Art Bell. He has a really good interview with George Carlin. I would.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would highly suggest looking that up.
I'll check that out. The last George Norrie quote I like. It says, "Sometimes I wish aliens would abduct me and crown me as their leader." That's George Norrie.
George Norrie. Yeah, I was gonna do the low hanging fruit and see what like Joe Rogan said about Bigfoot or stuff, but I feel like
he has one quote that I had heard him say, and it's like, Bigfoot, a big hairy guy walking around, is totally believable, but like a giant black whale as an orca that like just there's just been recently a huge influx of like orca attacks.
Yeah,
like that is something out of mythology.
Right. Well, I think animals are getting fed up because there was a case. I sent you the article of it. It was like maybe 2 years old, but these monkeys in I think the Philippines went on a revenge killing because a group of stray dogs killed one of their babies.
I remember you said that to me.
Yeah, so then these monkeys just started grabbing puppies and climbing up to roofs and throwing them off.
Damn.
And killed like 120 of them.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, all because fucking one dog.
Yeah. Where was this at?
In the Philippines.
Philippines, okay.
And then, yeah, I think
that sounds like some South America stuff, but maybe they're kind of close in time periods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like maybe like the finances, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Societal.
Okay. I don't know what you mean.
Oh. They're kind of second world countries, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If not
I see
third.
what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, it's the country that you always see on YouTube where the tourists are there and the monkeys come and steal their phone.
Or their drinks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, drunk monkeys everywhere.
Right. And then that you were talking about those orcas, I guess a pod of them started attacking boats after one of their orcas got killed by a human. And so
really?
they've just been like,
good. Keep it.
These guys.
Keep the ocean, man.
yeah. Yeah.
People are encroaching on everything.
Yeah, we need to. I don't know. I always get.
Imagine if those fucking orcas had spaceships and laser guns.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Well, maybe that's what's happening. Maybe dolphins are evolving, and all the crap that we dump down there, they're finally making their own spaceships.
Yeah, so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah, and they're like, "Whoa, dude, look at this thing and how advanced it is." And really, it's just like a porpoise.
The dolphins are creating like organic submarines that are orcas, and they're like, there's a dolphin inside piloting it.
Yeah, I mean that would be some science fiction shit. They do shoot down one of these Tic Tacs, and it's like, there's a fucking dolphin in here. What the fuck?
If we were Kevin Smith, we'd be writing this movie right now.
Yeah. If Kevin Smith is listening, get on that. Yeah, you can call it To What Porpoise.
To What Porpoise? Call it Just Blowhole.
Just Blowhole. Yeah. He's an interesting fellow, but I don't know, after Clerks 3, I wonder if there's a time when you have to stop doing your craft.
He just came out. Well, I was just talking to a buddy about, I don't know if you ever heard of listen to the Necromantics, but I brought him up on the 5 albums that we did with Hollywood Dave and Chicken Boy.
Yeah.
Check that episode out. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Or the Suck Off with Hollywood Dave. That's a good one too. But I think he's just lived long enough to where he has changed so much that it's like Metallica making music.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the Black Album or whatever shit before that or whatever that you love, because they're growing people too.
Yeah, and it kind of makes...
And you know who's the exact opposite of that is that fucking Blink-182, and they won't stop writing music about fucking kids in high school.
Yeah, like, how old do you have to be before you stop writing?
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge. I should have got some quotes from him. I didn't even think about that. He's a UFO nutball.
And he was on Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah. And he kept saying, like, I know, but I can't tell you. Like,
because he has like a whole foundation or something for that.
Yeah, and I think that actually it's to the stars.
Yeah.
But then I think he kind of like it just became a place to sell stuff.
I believe it. Yeah,
and that's why he went back to Blink-182 to have this last big ass world tour.
Yeah,
and be like, it was $1,000 for a ticket or whatever it is, some kind of
Speaking of just a place to sell stuff, check out Abernathy's. They got some Blue Ribbon Lounge merch.
Yeah,
we're working on stickers and stuff. We're always trying to come out with new stuff. Working on T-shirts. I got a couple of T-shirts. If you're listening, go to the Facebook, the Blue Ribbon Lounge Facebook group, and let us know you want a T-shirt. The first 2 people that go on there are going to get a T-shirt.
Oh.
I think the other ones are spoken for, but I'm not 100% sure.
All right. Yeah. T-shirts. They're cool. Is it just the skeleton?
Yeah, it's the new skeleton art.
Oh, okay.
They're going to cost you $20. Sorry, but there's only a limited supply.
But $20 for a T-shirt is not bad.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, and they're decent quality.
I think so. I'm not wearing mine right now.
No, but I mean, they're not that chintzy, like...
Yeah.
I don't like those T-shirts.
And they've gone through the wash a couple of times, and I don't know. Does a T-shirt ever hold up in a wash? I don't know. I'm looking at your Misfits shirt.
And it's, yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty much just like that after, a dozen washes.
Yeah, I got a shirt, Robot Grandma shirt from a podcast I used to listen to before they stopped podcasting. And now it just feels like almost kind of sticky.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like all the colors doesn't pop at all. But, I mean...
I have confidence that this color will stay popped, but, like, you may get, like, little flakes off or like, the cracking or something,
That always happens. I think if you're a T-shirt connoisseur, you hang them up to dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
I don't either.
It's like they sit in the hamper for about a day and a half. Then they get into the washer for about a day, then the dryer for a day, and then the clean laundry basket for about 3 days.
Until you pull it out and put it on?
Put it right on, yeah.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
I put it through the ringer.
Yeah. Did you do any out and about stuff?
Not a whole bunch of out and about. We did have a yard sale this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I mean, we sold a bunch of stuff, got to see some friends. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
I like to, and it's like a great reason to just be outside for like 3 days straight.
Yeah.
Which is always awesome.
And you're like, I would mow, but, the yard sale.
Well, I mowed right before.
Yeah, so presentation.
Yes.
Right. That's cool. I have been grounded. Not really, but the old lady's car is not working, so when she like goes to work on the weekends,
yeah,
stuck at home. But she did go last week to Tailgates and Tall Boys.
I've heard of that. Where's that at?
It was in Clinton. It was a music fest for like country folks.
Okay. My wife went down to Port Byron.
Yeah.
And I can't remember where she ate. It was some sort of Thai place. But then her and the ladies of Abernathy's, which would be a sweet T-shirt if they did.
The ladies of Abernathy's?
Yeah, it would be like hella Viking looking shit.
Oh, okay.
Like Valkyries or something like that. That'd be cool. But they went to this place called the Blue Suede, and it was an all Elvis themed bar from what she told me.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It sounded really cool. I was kind of jealous about that.
Yeah, Port Byron?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know they just have that like Go Fish place that is decent to eat at.
Is that in Port Byron? I think it's in Princeton.
Oh, Princeton. Wait.
Yeah.
Port Byron's
right across the river.
Yeah, okay. Now that makes sense because when you said Thai place, I was like, I don't.
Thai place in Princeton, Princeton, Iowa.
What the fuck? Who just wants to eat there? Oh, that makes sense now. Port Byron. They're the ones we tug against.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
Bunch of tuggers.
Yeah. LeClaire was being whiny because I haven't won in so many years.
Yeah.
They're like, it's because the river and the current, so it's not fair. And so they want to like change how or where they tug or something.
Yeah.
So they can get an advantage. or like they want some extra barges to hold the
rope up.
Up more out of the water.
I can understand it, but
yeah, I mean, and I know they just do that to drum up business.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a cool event.
Yeah,
and you know what? I'm a big proponent of making things fair as possible because nobody fucking loves to lose all the time,
right? Well, back in
especially as being a gentleman from Illinois, got some pretty bad winners over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll rub it in your face all day.
If we get the bad winners.
Yeah.
We're in the bubble over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tugfest is between Iowa and Illinois. They do a rope across the Mississippi and play tug of war.
Yeah. It's definitely a cool idea for an event.
And I think back in the 90s or the 80s, they used to also be like, oh, yeah, the rope's just going to run through this tent. And then they find out that they have a donkey or something in there pulling the rope.
You liar. Somebody did that?
I think one year they hooked it up to a tractor until like Port Byron was like, why are you guys winning so much over there?
Dude, how fucking crazy is that?
Yeah, because they do like a girls team and a boys team and then like a kids team and then a mixed. I think they have a couple of different ones. It's not just one big tug.
Yeah, which even just like if the rope was just there and you pulled on it, like I feel like it would be kind of hard, right?
Yeah,
because it's got to be so long and heavy.
I think it's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister did it one year. And
really?
And she had not my oldest sister.
Oh,
yeah, not number one fan. And she had had the knee braces on and stuff, and got her old muscle gear going on. Yeah, got pictures of it.
If I was Iowa, I would just start like pulling as hard as I can and then let go. So all of Illinois fell over.
That'd be funny. But I don't know. Because when she did it, they were doing a direct pull, like straight across.
Oh, okay.
And then they changed it to like a pulley system so they could pull like parallel to the river. So it would like do a 90-degree turn.
That's interesting.
And I wonder if that's maybe because of what they didn't want to like, if you let it go, you're going to fall over.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's all I had, Davey.
Yeah, that's all you got.
What do we got coming up? We got the, it's not for a couple more weeks, but the Davenport Comic Book Convention. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I got to hit that guy up.
The
8th?
8th?
July 8th.
Okay.
And then...
yeah, because the 4th is like Tuesday.
Yeah. And then in a little while, I've been seeing a lot more posts about it for... I texted you when I watched the movie at horror convention.
Midwest Monster.
Yeah. Midwest Monster Fest. They're going to have the gal from Sleepaway Camp is going to be there.
Yeah.
I watched that movie. What a trip.
Yeah, that one's a crazy one. That's like... has a good twist.
I don't know if I would call it good, but it was a twist.
You didn't see it coming.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It was the most twistiest twist I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Especially because the rest of the movie was like very like B acting.
Yeah. I mean, it's an occult classic.
Yeah. Which I'd like to talk to you and Jason sometime about that, how cult classics are essentially made and what some of your favorites are. We got Jason from Deathstiss coming in for the Halloween.
Yeah. Is that guaranteed?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we just got to pick a time to record.
All right.
And then we got some other stuff coming up. I'd like to have Daredevil Brian back on. We were going to have a Hollywood Dave episode for sure, the first of the year.
Yeah.
I've been talking to some other people about getting on with him.
Okay. Well, I mean, he instead of doing the standards, we can do Zed.
Yeah.
I mean, and we'd still have...
Yeah, we still have, Hollywood Dave.
Hollywood Dave, yeah. But Chicken Boy was very informational.
Yeah, I really enjoyed having him on.
Yeah. And he was like...
He's working
shy to begin with.
Yeah, he's working for the Rust Belt now. He said he's there like almost every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was down there. We went and watched Trivium.
All right.
Have you ever heard of them?
No.
They were really good. And then also everybody was there for this Beartooth band.
Yeah, they have a lot of bands that I don't know.
Okay.
But they seem to be popular because I'll see people like at work with like new T-shirts and like, or like I'll hear like Rust Belt and like passing conversations and stuff.
Yeah, that Beartooth had a huge following. There were a group of 4 like tween girls there to see Beartooth.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like my wife was saying like that would have never happened at a metal show, you know, when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And then we heard the Beartooth band, and they were okay, I think. And we watched one of their videos later, and it was very like pop metal.
Oh. Okay.
And the guy was handsome, never wore a shirt. But it's cool that kids are into that stuff, and it's cool that that kind of stuff's coming to Quad Cities. Trivium had a huge stage setup. The drums were on like a big stage, and the lead singer is the lead singer is Asian.
Okay.
So
He's very Asian.
Yeah, I was gonna say his whole like act while they were playing, he had a lot of tongue sticking out.
Oh, yeah.
He shaved his head, and so he had like these big ears. He was just a very animated looking guy.
Yeah.
But they had these big Chinese dragons, and like the eyes lit up, and then like so he was on stage. He was like wearing like an Asian style jacket and had his head shaved. The bass player was way shorter than him, and his bass looked like as tall as the bass player.
Yeah.
And he had a shaved head and a jean jacket. And then the other guitar player looked like stone cold stereotypical metal dude.
Yeah,
long
hair.
black hair, had the jean jacket over a black t-shirt, kind of overweight. He looked like somebody right out of Death Clock. And it was too funny.
That's funny. This is good aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice that we got that live music.
Yeah.
And I think the Rust Belt is kind of a good venue.
Now that Chicken Boy's working there,
Yeah.
great.
Oh, before was there echo issues?
I had never heard a good band play there.
Oh, really?
But also, Chicken Boy was saying that the way it's built, like you need a lot of people to be there, or else the sound won't reverberate.
I was going to say, isn't it tall ceilings?
It's tall, it's long, everything's cement.
Yeah, so there's a lot of echo, a lot of reverb, like you said.
Yeah. But it sounded great in there, so that was great.
That's good. Now the Chicken Boy's there.
Yeah. Thank God for Chicken Boy.
Yep.
It's going to be our next sticker.
Thank God for Chicken Boy. People would probably buy that. At least like 3 people.
3, yeah. I'd end up giving them all away. That's okay, though.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Boop, boop, boop. You made it to the end.
Congratulations.
Yes, thanks for sticking it out.
Yeah, I got a lot of editing to do in this one. I kept goofing up the whole time.
Just up and down.
Yeah, maybe we'll have some bloopers at the end, though.
Yeah. And if you know any quotes or things and you want to go over to the Facebook page and slap them on there, and we can give it a thumbs up for you.
Yeah, drop us down your favorite cryptid, something you want us to check out in a future episode. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. And remember, be good to yourselves.
Yes. And also remember, in the words of Spose, I don't need anything opulent as long as I've got oxygen. Know what I mean?
Did I forget to not shut off the fridge?
I don't
That's
know.
what it sounds like. Because I'm a fucking bing bong. That's the refrigerator.
That, oh.
I was over here twice.